And now we turn to the former U.S. Congressman and presidential nominee, Dr. Ron Paul. He recently announced that he is launching the Ron Paul channel this summer. The network will be broadcast exclusively over the internet and focused on his message of peace and prosperity. Perry Ann Boring has more.
Representative Ron Paul retired from Congress last year after an 8-term stint. But the 78-year-old has not retired from what he calls the revolution. And he just announced he will be launching the Ron Paul channel this summer.
But he's not finished. He's looking for a way to contribute, to continue to advance the ball down the field. And this is certainly a good way for him to do that. I wouldn't expect him to just retire on a rocking chair out there on a porch in Texas.
Dr. Paul ran for president twice. In his last election, he felt he didn't get fair media coverage. Peter Schiff agrees.
I think had he gotten a fair shake, he'd have won Iowa early. He'd have won New Hampshire. He would have had a lot of momentum. He might have actually been our nominee. And I think if Ron Paul had been a Republican nominee, he wouldn't be retired now doing the Ron Paul channel, because I think he could have beaten Barack Obama and he would now be the president of the United States. So, the media, though, didn't want that to happen.
His colleague Tom Woods from the Mises Institute said when Ron Paul left the campaign, he was discouraged and ticked off at the media.
When it comes to the media refusing to allow people to hear the full spectrum of opinion that exists, well, yeah, that does actually tick him off. And frankly, I find it encouraging to see him ticked off. He should be.
Soon after the campaign, Ron Paul resigned from Congress and started the Ron Paul Institute for Peace and Prosperity. Daniel McAdams is the executive director of the Institute.
The mission is to carry on and to accelerate what Congressman Paul was doing through his years in Congress and before that, working for a non-interventionist foreign policy, working for reduction in our military spending, reduction in the empire, and also protection of civil liberties at home.
It's here that he is challenging the establishment.
Ideas are very radical things too, and educating people and informing them about things that they've not been exposed to. It can be a very radical thing, and it can be an enlightening thing as well.
During his time in Congress, he spoke out against all foreign aid, and that would include Egypt. He recently wrote that, despite the Egyptian government being overthrown by a military coup, the Obama administration will not utter the word coup because acknowledging reality would mean an end to U.S. assistance to the Egyptian government and military. He also went on a rant to warn Americans of the E-Verify program that's tucked in the immigration reform bill. The National ID Mandatory E-Verify database will not only be used to prevent illegal immigrants from gaining employment, instead it will eventually be used as another tool to monitor and control the American people. Since the mainstream media has never been his ally, Ron Paul is taking matters into his own hands. Turn off your TV, turn on the truth. Perry Ann Boring, RT. The future to consume media is moving online, and Dr. Paul is headed in that direction. The Ron Paul channel could bring endless possibilities to his message of liberty.